So, man.
What's up?
Last week you were here and you looked a lot more pissed off than you do now.
Yeah.
You wanted to get in a fight that night. Do you feel like you got into a fight tonight?
I got in a fight. That was a fight. Buckley brought it. I've been saying let's go Bucko for a while. Buckley brought the fight. Hats off to Buckley. Man, that was fun. That was super fun. I got to talk this time. I got to smack this time. I got to do every nickname they call me. I got to do it. And I mean, and now I'm feeling a little Hollywood, so it was fun.
Yeah, we've been waiting for the talking inside a quiet arena. You know, you didn't do it so much in Jacksonville. So give us a few of the highlights. What exactly were you saying? What were you guys talking about?
Well, yesterday when we were at weigh-ins, he said he wanted to talk. And I was like, thinking in my head, like, I'm about to flatline this guy. Like, it ain't gonna be much talking. You know what I mean? And then he was hard to hit at first, so I was like, all right, I should probably start talking. You know what I mean? So I started talking a little bit, and I started hitting him with those push kicks to the body and stuff like that. And dude, I seen him look up at the clock, and I was like, don't look at the clock. You know what I mean? Don't look at the clock. And then I heard my corner over there. He was like, it's getting hard to hit, huh? And so it was just a good time. You know what I mean? Overall, it was a good time. My whole team was ready to go out there and have a conversation and have fun. And he only had one cornerman, so they couldn't keep up with all the mouths we had out there. It was a lot of big mouths tonight, so we did our thing.
How do you evaluate your performance, right? Because he was throwing some heat, especially early on, and you managed to avoid it and slip away from a lot of it. How do you feel you looked tonight?
I feel like I looked really good. I wish we would have never headbutt in the first round. You know what I mean? I was going for that takedown, and we kind of clashed heads. I planned on taking him down and, like, smashing him out right then and there and getting it over with. But, and, you know, he was a strong guy. He bench pressed me off. Overall, I think my performance was decent. I turned my back a few times. I didn't like to do that, trying to get away. I think my Philly shell looked pretty good, but got to go home and improve some things. You know what I mean? I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu now, and I cannot be getting bench pressed off somebody. You know what I mean? Like, that's not good.
He looks like the sort of guy who could bench press you often, though, to be fair.
Yeah, he's a solid guy for sure. You know what I mean? You see those plates on him? I mean, at weigh-ins yesterday, I couldn't stop looking at him, and he was like, look me in my eyes, and I was like, bruh, it's kind of hard to look you in your eyes when you got them type of titties. You know what I mean? And so, hats off to him.
You wanted to turn around quickly before, and then you got some held up before last week. Is that the same plan now? You've seen some other guys just turn around, and the UFC keeps booking them. Is that going to be you?
Yeah, I mean, if I got to... I mean, I can't fight next weekend because I got the stitches, right? So I get 10 days to really relax and stuff like that. So after my 10 days are up, I guess that's my 2 weeks that me and my coaches talked about. I'll be back in the gym. I'll be back ready to go. Like I was saying in my last interview, I can do 185 on 2 days' notice, and I can do 170 on 2 weeks. I prefer to do 170 on 4 weeks because, you know what I mean? I like to eat, you know, and I got to clean up the diet for 170, but... honestly, if we can keep doing 185 right now, I don't mind. I've always been a fan of Mick Maynard ever since he had Legacy way back in the day. So, you know, and Sean Shelby, he's an OG in the game. So, I mean, honestly, it's whatever they want me to do. You want me to fight tomorrow? You know what I mean? Put some glue on the stitches, we can fight tomorrow. I mean, if you want me to fight on Tuesday on the Contender Series, I'll do that too.
I think you're past the Contender Series now.
You know, fight with no crowd. I mean, fight with no crowd is a fight with no crowd. You know what I mean? Let's do it.
Did I see earlier this week you said you wanted to fight Mike Perry?
I really, really, really would love to fight Mike Perry. Mike Perry was really disrespectful when he came to Texas and he smacked on somebody. So, yeah, you know, he needs a good Texas smackdown. And, you know, Geoff Neal already gave him one, you know. So now I think he didn't learn from that one. So I would like to do that over a course of 3 rounds. I don't even want to knock Mike Perry out. I don't even know if I want to punch him. I want to slap him the whole time. You know what I mean? It's like, he's disrespectful. You know, I understand that he apologized, but... that was a sincere apology, so fuck him.
I don't want you to knock on yourself, but you were saying to Paul Felder that something you indulge in something a bit too much, and this time you didn't. This 2 weeks off, do you indulge, and then do you have to stop yourself? And is this something you've learned from?
Yeah, can't smoke blunts, period, point blank. You know what I mean? You guys didn't want to put it out there, let's put it out there. You know what I mean? Can't smoke blunts. You know what I mean? You want to be a professional athlete, you gotta leave the tobacco alone. Ain't nothing wrong with the green, but tobacco, you gotta leave that shit alone. For sure.
Good man.
My problem's always been cookies, so blunt is a little bit better.
I like cookies.
So first I want to ask, Did you get? You were hungry for a fight when you came in the other night. You were ready to fight anybody. I think most of us media were glad we had tables separating us.
Yeah.
Is the hunger sated for a little bit right now? Did you get it out of your system a little bit?
Yeah, I got it out of my system a little bit. Now I just want to go home and level my kid and stuff like that and play with the dog. But I mean, that only lasts so long. I'm a fighter. I'm a warrior. I love to fight. You know what I mean? It's somebody says the wrong thing, I'm gonna be ready to go again. I'm a professional, so I'll wait until I get in the cage, or I'll go to the gym and smack on some of my training partners. But yeah, man, I love to fight. This is the best job in the world, and it doesn't get no better than this. You know, it's just what it is.
I didn't catch when you got the cut over the eye. When did that happen? And when you get a cut over your eye, does that give you a little bit of urgency that you want to get the fight moving on? Worried that the cut might bleed into the eye or anything?
No. When I get cut, I actually want to like take a break and then go get it wiped off and be like, hey, is it bad? Can somebody tell my mom don't be too mad? I don't like getting cut. My mom hates when I get cut. My grandma hates when I get cut. All the women in my life hate when I get cut. And it happened in the first round when I went for the takedown. We had a clash of heads. It wasn't from a punch, but all his cuts were from punches and elbows and knees.
It looked like to me, he was coming in there, he was throwing everything that he had. I mean, I don't know how that guy throws anything light with a physique like that, but watching you looked very controlled, almost like you were really trying to keep your mind and to not expending too much energy. Was that part of the game plan, was just to play it calm and pick your shots and be smart with what you were throwing out there?
Yeah, I think the faster somebody else fights, the slower I fight. If you're rushing, I'm taking my time. If you're taking your time, I'm rushing. You know what I mean? So it's like I want to do what you don't want to do. You know what I mean? And looking at Buckley, looking at every fight Buckley's ever had, man, that guy comes in there and he throws bombs. He's looking to knock somebody's head off. And for me, I thought that was perfect because his arms were too small, you know what I mean? And his legs were too short. So there was no way possible I was going to let him knock my head off, you know what I mean? I figured if I stay tall, I use my Philly shell, and I slide back a little bit, I'd be okay. Until he punched me in my throat one time. And then I was thinking, like, man, I don't want to let that happen to me more times.
Awesome. Just a couple more. You had mentioned earlier, as the fight was going on, you noticed your opponent was looking at the clock.
Mm-hmm.
When you see your opponent look at the clock, what does that say to you?
It says the same thing that it says when I look at the clock. He's tired, you know what I mean? It's like those little snap kicks to the body, you know. We had a saying when we were going to the fight. It was stomp, stab, and snap, you know what I mean? And so you heard my corner yell stomp and you heard him yell stab. They never really yelled snap. Thanks, guys. So, yeah, we stomped on his knees, and then, hats off to Robert Whitaker and John Jones. And then we stabbed him in the body a lot. Shout out to Conor McGregor and anybody that does traditional martial arts. Those stabs to the body hurt. It's just like getting punched in the body, if not a little worse. It's a sharp little pain. And in the second round, he started looking at the clock like, when is he going to stop kicking me in my stomach? So I was thinking the same thing he was thinking. You know, yeah, it's been a long night, but it's going to be a little bit longer unless you want to fold. And he folded.
Well, speaking of that final strike, when he went down, you obviously saw something. It looked like you maybe took a step, but what did you see that you knew that you didn't need to do any follow-ups when that hit? Was it something in his eyes? Because we couldn't really see his eyes, but it looked like maybe they were looking off somewhere else. Or
Nah, the first time I knocked him down, he got back up, and I was like, oh, he wants to win his UFC debut. 2 those, you know what I mean? Second round, when he looked at that clock, he wanted out. Third round, when he got hit with that shot, he didn't, you know what I mean? He's been knocked out before, so he accepts being knocked out. That's just a part of the game. If you've been submitted before, you accept being submitted. Me versus Brandon Allen. I got submitted by Rafael Lovato Jr. I was going through some things in that Brandon Allen fight. He took my back. I accept being submitted. I've never been knocked out before, and I never want to be knocked out, so I will never accept getting hit in this chin. You know what I mean? Even though it's granted. But, yeah, he accepted it. And so when I looked at him on the ground, I was looking at a lot of Sugar Sean O'Malley's walk-off knockouts, and I noticed that he gets bonuses for that. So I was like, maybe this will work, and I just walked off.
What's up, Kev? Congratulations. Jim Griesauber, cage side seat. You like this building. We know that. It felt good coming back here and getting this win after being here and getting a win on the Contender Series.
Yes, sir. So when I got the win on the Contender Series, that was season 2, and they didn't have this beautiful building yet. But I actually have came to this building before, courtesy of the UFC, to let me watch a Contender fight before when I was living in Vegas for a little while. So, yeah, I do like this building a lot. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful building. I mean, only thing we're missing is a hotel, right? If we had a hotel connected to this, it'd be amazing. And then we could really have a bubble.
Might be coming soon. Who knows, right?
That'd
With
be
everything that's
sick.
been going on. So, what about facing someone making their debut? And obviously, he's looking to make a name for himself and running his mouth. And you ended it the way you ended it. But it kind of take you back a little bit to when you made your debut, fighting a vet like Santos, and now you're 6-7 fights in. But what was that like to face someone in his debut? No one wants to lose to a new guy.
Well, actually, when I made my debut, I lost, right? And then when I fought Brandon Allen and he made his debut, I lost. So I was like, let's not make this a habit of debut losers. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm gonna beat him to death, and you know, we didn't beat him to death, but we beat him senseless.
Thanks, man. Congrats.
Thank you. Sweet. Thank you, guys.